Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special episode of Hashinshin. Today, we're going to talk about a problem, an epidemic, really, that has been plaguing the League of Legends community. Bot players cannot do basic math. How did I come to this conclusion? How did I know that this problem had spread? Well, recently, Riot had made a change to Kraken Slayer, an item in League of Legends. This item was buffed. It was buffed significantly. It has been buffed so hard, in fact, that basically every single character that uses it is stronger, and several of them actually need nerfs now. How did the bot players react to this change? Well, when we go to their subreddit, the AD Carry Mains subreddit, and I sort by the top posts of this week. These are the most upvoted posts of the entire last week since the patch dropped. And what do we see here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The seventh highest upvoted post of this entire week is AD Carry Mains complaining that Kraken Slayer is trash, that it has been nerfed, which is confusing because it wasn't. 8, 9, that's right, the ninth highest post was also complaining about Kraken Slayer being nerfed, which is confusing, of course. They said, quote, Riot is laughing at us. They are, in fact, laughing at these ADC mains. Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that just making ADCs scale way worse late game? He responds, only in the case of Kraken Slayer. So of course, what was the Kraken Slayer change? Kraken Slayer was changed recently. Let me go. I had it and then I lost it. Okay, Kraken Slayer was changed recently. Instead of having a scaling modifier on its damage dealt, it is now a flat amount of damage dealt, non-scaling, other than with levels. This was a significant buff to its early game damage, and many AD Carry mains complained that it was also a nerf to its late game damage. Because, obviously, everyone spawns in level 18 with 5 items. The fact that it was a buff at level 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10 and 11 and 12 and 13 and 14 and 15 and 16 and 17 and 18 and 19 and 20 and... Oh wait, it was actually a buff at level 18 too, because at level 18 you typically only have 4 items and you complete the 5th at level 18. But actually, despite all of that, everyone spawns in at level 18 with full build. That's where Kraken Slayer is nerfed. Or is it? Well, let's discuss this Kraken Slayer nerf. The patch reads, base damage increased to 18 to 40 based on level, from 35 to 85 based on level. Removed, bring it down, no longer scales with 65% AD and 60% AP. So of course you have to math it out, of course. How much AD would you need for this to be a nerf? Well, knowing that I took math ever in my entire life, I was able to very easily solve this. The old number, of course, was 85 plus x times 65 equals 310, because 310 is now how much damage it does. So when you remove 85 from the right side, and I assure you, everyone who needs basic math lessons, okay? Everyone who needs basic math lessons, this does need to happen, okay? So I remove the 85 from both sides, so it is now just x times 0.65 equals 225. Then I divide both sides by 0.65, which brings us to x equals, I should make this lowercase just to be sure, x equals 346. That means that you need 346 damage in order for this to be a nerf. So of course, I then took to the Hashinshin copter, and I sorted by all the AD carries who were being played. And as of this patch, I looked through every single AD carry, every single one of them that builds Kraken Slayer as a first primary item. If their most built item is Kraken Slayer, I included them in this list. As we can see here, Lucian's first most built item is Kraken Slayer. so I included him in the list. Is Lucian nerfed? Well, let's go talk about that. I will, of course, be using Lucian, and I will be using his most popular build. What is Lucian's most popular build? It looks like we are going press the attack, presence of mind, legend bloodline, magical footwear, biscuit delivery, attack speed, adaptive force, and health. This will be Lucian's most popular build as of right now. And of course, we're going to lock this in, and we're going to double check. Did Kraken Slayer, in fact, get nerfed late game? Can bot players do basic math? Let's find out. So I want to remind everybody, as we're playing this game, that it is buffed at every point in time other than level 18 5 items. So right now, this item is buffed. It is still buffed. It is still buffed. Buffed, 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 buffed. What is Lucian's, then, most popular build? As we can see here, Lucian's most popular build is Navori Quickblades, Rapid Fire Cannon, Lord Dominic's Regards, and Guardian Angel. I will not be discriminating in any way. I will not be trying to spread lies or anything. We're using Emerald Plus here as a mix between, you know, kind of the mid ranks. So we're not preferring high ranks, we're not preferring low ranks. And this is Lucian's most popular build. So let's build this. He is still buffed. He is still buffed. He is still buffed. As the other one, Guardian Angel. You might not believe this. You might not be able to believe this, but look down here at this number, and you can see Lucian has 340 damage. Lucian does not really build Infinity Edge, which is crazy, which is insane. Lucian and his most popular build is buffed even at level 18. We have magical footwear, so I can't buy boots, but I assure you, attack speed won't increase your damage. I assure you right now, Lucian at level 18 is actually still buffed, because 340, let's go ahead and check that little basic math we did. 340 is below 346. That means that, wow, shockingly, Lucian was buffed. But we don't stop there. No. Just, I'm going to hammer this home for all of you, how dumb your average AD carry main is. Let's look at Kai'Sa. Now, just for those of you wondering, what do you think Kai'Sa is? Is she buffed? Is she nerfed? What is her most popular build? How do we do this? Well, let's see here. What is Kai'Sa's most popular rune setup? Because of course I want to copy it. I need to make sure that this test is completely valid. We have Lethal Tempo, Presence of Mind, Legend Bloodline, Coup de Grace. This is pretty normal stuff. Over here, Magical Footwear and Biscuit Delivery, of course. And her most popular build is right there. So we have the most popular build on Kai'Sa. I am not discriminating. I am not cheating. I am not in any way trying to take this and change it into something else. I'm not trying to do that at all, okay? What I'm trying to do here is just use the most popular build possible. I will not be using anything other than the most popular build. If it is her most built items, then I will just build them and I will just use them. So, of course, as of right now, Kai'Sa's most popular build seems to be Kraken Slayer Rush. That's her first item. Okay, and remember, she's buffed, 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 and still buffed. Then, of course, she goes into Terminus, because that item is extremely powerful right now, but she could also do a Rage Blade. It seems she kind of goes into either. If we go by her build path, this is her most popular build path right here. And then at 4th and 5th options, we, of course, see either a Wit's End, let's see, what are we seeing? We're seeing a Wit's End, an Hourglass, a Guardian Angel. So let's just go ahead and build Hourglass and Guardian Angel right there. And of course, we are not at 340 damage. But of course, I'm a smart guy. I don't want to cheat. It did used to have a 60% AP ratio. So what, of course, is her AP? 155. 155 times 0.6 Now let's add this 93 to our 279, and we end up with 372. That's right. Kaisa has shockingly been nerfed. That is disturbing, to say the least. A character who got weaker despite being buffed the entire rest of the game. Now let's do 346 times 0.65. That is correct. Every single proc of Kraken Slayer will be dealing 16.9 less damage for Kaisa. As she is dealing thousands and thousands of damage, this has rendered this character incapable of being played. So let's tally this up. This was a buff. This was a nerf. I already did Jinx, and I can't actually show you Jinx because the problem is I would need to wait in game because she builds, unfortunately, Gathering Storm. Now, making you guys wait in the test client for like 5 minutes as we wait for 40-minute Gathering Storm. Because like I could speed through it, but it still takes a while and stuff. I'm just gonna tell you it was also oh wait, I did this backwards. You can see I have yeah. So it was buffed on Jinx too. That's 280 carries. I did this backwards because I did this. I'm dumb. So we're only talking level 18 with full build. It's a buff on one champion and a nerf on 2 other champions. Ooh, no, I'm doing bad. Ooh, I'm only 1 for 3. Well, I hope the rest of these characters it's also nerfed on. Otherwise, 80 carry mains would look really dumb. So let's, of course, we're going to bring up Ashe, our next little character. I know she has a 51.56% win rate. Why is that? Is it because, and I don't know, and this is just off the top of my head, does anyone think that, and I don't know, this is just off the top of my head, does anyone think that maybe Kraken Slayer was a giant buff on this character? It could be, but that would be weird, wouldn't it? So her most popular build is Biscuit Delivery, Approach Velocity, and Lethal Tempo. Swapping from Lethal Tempo to Press the Attack doesn't actually change anything, but here we go. Let's lock in Ashe. So once again, we are on to our 4th 80 carry, and I will be personally showing you, us together, can 80 carries, can bot mains do basic math? Can they do basic math? I don't know why I'm doing this gesture. Well, let's of course find out. As we enter the game, it is a buff. Let's buy our first item here, a Kraken Slayer. It is a buff. Buffed, 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 buffed. Now, what is Ashe's, what is her most popular build right now? Let's go look this up because I want to make this 100%. So we go Kraken Slayer into Trinity, into Terminus, into Wit's End, into Guardian Angel. So, of course, we have got, it's still buffed, and it is still buffed, it's still buffed, and, well, you'll never quite believe this, but shockingly, it is still buffed. Ashe coming in at 295 damage with her most popular build, and, there's not really much I could swap here. I could swap Runon's Hurricane for Wit's End, but I'm going to be blunt with you. Neither of them have damage. So let's be real here. It will not affect anything. That's right. That is absolutely correct. It is a buff on Ashe, and actually a fairly significant one as well. Ooh, I wonder why Ashe's win rate has increased so significantly. Is it because 80 carries cannot do basic math? Next up is Xayah. Now, I've got a good feeling about Xayah. She's more of like an 80 caster type of champion, right? So she'll probably build more damage and stuff like that, right? So I think on Xayah, this will definitely be a buff for the character because she tends to build way more damage than other characters. And I just got a good feeling about this one. This is definitely coming out to a buff on Xayah because there's no way that it would be. So it's definitely going to be a nerf on Xayah because there's no way that this could possibly be a buff again. There's absolutely no way. She builds way too much attack damage, and you know, just to be blunt, just to be true, there's no way. So of course it is a buff, 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 and we add the gold in here. Let's get the Kraken Slayer, it's still a buff. Navari Quick Blades, it's still a buff. Lord Dominic's Guards, it's still a buff. Bloodthirster, you'd never believe this. It is now nerfed with Bloodthirster, one of the highest AD items in the game. And once we grab that guard that Guardian Angel, we can see, wow, this was actually nerfed on Ashe.
30 seconds.
Ashe, who am I playing? Xayah. This was actually nerfed on Xayah pretty hard at her level 18 5-item build.
Noisy.
Really rough. She will have lost about 20 damage on her procs, and as we can see with the champion here, her win rate has gone up. Oof. Well, it seems even on characters who are stronger, or I should say who are weaker at level 18, do stronger when they get buffed at literally every phase of the game other than the hyper late game, which is a bit crazy when you think about it, because why? It's not like literally the entire game matters, only the late game matters. So this is a nerf. Let's check out Tristana. Once again, with Tristana, I definitely get the feeling that this will be a nerf on the champion. I don't think she's really going to be viable. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead because she's doing the same build as Xayah. It's only a buff at level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 1 item, 2 item, 3 item. It's only a nerf at 4 items level 18. Or I should say, yeah. Wow, crazy. Champion is basically unplayable garbage right now. I'm going to be honest with you. In fact, let's go back and look at Tristana. We can see that the champion has actually gone up by 1% win rate. Oops. It appears once again being buffed for the overwhelming vast majority of the game has made Tristana stronger, which is crazy. That's actually... how can that happen though? But she was nerfed slightly at level 18 4 items. Surely this has massively impacted her ability to play the game. Well. Once again, ooh, this one might actually be close. I'm gonna have to actually look at this one because I don't know. Does Sivir actually get here? No, Sivir tends to build a lot of damage. You know, I will admit Sivir tends to build a lot of damage. This might actually be a nerf on Sivir. Oof. I don't know about this one, fellas. What are we thinking here? Kraken Slayer? I mean, her optimal build seems to be a Phantom Dancer. So, in fact, let's math it out, everybody. Let's just go by the book. Okay, Kraken Slayer into Navari Quickblade into Phantom Dancer is her most popular build. So once again, we have a buff. Now let's add that gold. It is still buffed. Let's see here. At 4th item, her most popular thing is Lord Dominic's. I mean, obviously. And then at this, we have Guardian Angel coming as the most popular item. So it is... Oh, no! Oh, shoot. Using, once again, Sivir's top build right here, using only the highest built items on Sivir, it does appear that it was a buff at level 18 at full build, even on Sivir. Oh no, oh geez, that's another champion it's buffed on, but that means it's only been nerfed on 3 champions so far and buffed on 4 of them. Oh geez, oh gosh, oh no. Well, you know what, I guess Yasuo will come in and Yasuo will save our day. Once again, Yasuo being pretty far down here, but doing pretty good this patch, which is shocking. Why is Yasuo doing so good this patch? Was he doing this good last patch? No, once again, his win rate seems to have gone up. That's so weird. How? How did that happen? How did his win rate go up? The item was nerfed at full build level 18 for some champions. Not even all of them. So obviously he must be weaker, so much weaker. In fact, unplayable, trash, garbage. Let's do this most popular build on Yasuo. Don't want anything, you know, up to debate here. We gotta do this absolutely perfectly. We do not want to screw with anything. So of course, let's go look at his build then. Let's look at his most popular build in the game right now. Now this one might cut it close. Oof. This one might get to the point where he is actually nerfed again. So let's add that gold. Let's add buffed. So he has still been buffed this entire time. He is still buffed, and let's see, he's still buffed. That's a bit oof right there. Not gonna lie, that's a bit oof. So then we go into shield bow. Okay, and then what have we got next here? A Iceborne Gauntlet. Okay, we're still buffed right now. And now into a Guardian Angel. And we see right in front of us, oh no, 346. 346. Ooh, that is the exact number. So equal. That's crazy. So let's keep an entire tally. Can bot laners do basic math? Let's look at this. So we have buffs. We have 1, 2, 3 champions buffs. Buffs, 3 champions. Nerfs, 1, 2, 3, 4. Nerfs on 4 champions. I'm just counting it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I did this exactly right. And it is equal on 1 champion. Can 80 carries do basic math? No. Shockingly, here's the problem. Again, even on these champions who are massively nerfed, obviously basically unplayable because their level 18 full build is now slightly weaker, we can see across the board on every one of these champions, Kai'Sa, her win rate went up, which is unheard of. I mean, that literally cannot be. How could a champion get a higher win rate when their level 18 full build has been nerfed? Jinx, win rate up. This is kind of weird when you think about it, actually, because if this was true, this would mean that literally every single character, who, despite having a slightly weaker level 18, was actually secretly doing stronger. But if that was true, that would mean 80 carries are really, really dumb. Really dumb. What did I click on? I clicked support. Oops. Okay. And Tristana. We already looked at Tristana, but I'm going to look at it again. Win rate up. That's so weird that consistently, every single character who, even it was slightly reduced at level 18, is now stronger. 80 carries cannot do basic math. That's it. That's the point of this video. Bot laners, you guys are dumb. You guys are really, really, really dumb. I'm sorry. You guys are so stupid. That's it. That's the whole point of this. You guys are really, 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 really dumb. By the way, just to end this video on a funny note, Kraken Slayer is currently so broken that Bel'Veth and Master Yi, who use this item, absolutely shot up in win rate and are now dominating the jungle. In fact, even when we look at bot lane, we can see that several Kraken Slayer users, even at the high ranks, well, actually, Lucian's win rate is like basically the same. It went off by 0.08% points, so he's actually basically the same. This is why I don't like using Master Plus win rates. Anyway, my point here is that even when we look at it like this, we can still see that several Kraken Slayer users are in the top 10. One of them is even in the top 5. It is not, in fact, all lethality champions. And I don't know what the heck you guys are doing anymore, because, like, literally the only place where Kraken Slayer users are slightly sort of maybe struggling is at the extreme high rank. And even then, we're seeing their pick rates shoot up because more people are willing to play them, because the high ranks is more based around, you know, like early game, which was the whole point of this buff, to make Kraken Slayer users better in the early game, which is where they were struggling. But, you know, now I'm just going to move on with my life. Look, Kraken Slayer people, they are laughing at you. We are all laughing at you, ADC mains. We are all laughing at you. That is crazy. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. As always, I hope you all have a great rest of your day.